Welcome to the session. So today we'll discuss about internal combustion engines, unit number 2, that is lubrication topic. So all of you know that lubrication is very important to get rid of or to reduce the friction between two metallic surfaces. So where it is used generally. So you all know that in the automobiles and as well, and when the two mechanical links or two mechanical joints in between, we need some lubricant in the form of an engine oil. So there are many types of lubrication systems which are attached generally in an IC engines. So whether it is a two-stroke, four-stroke, or depend upon type of designs regarding the designs of engines, V type, okay, V8 engine. So in that also there is a main important point. There is an observation in the piston movement. So when it slides over inside the cylinder, on the surface of the cylinder, we need a lubrication. So how it is generally splashed over or present inside a piston where intricate gaps will be seen. So let us decide. So we need, if you can observe, this is a pumping system by using two loops to gauge where one end the pumping of oil and it is to supply over to other end. So whenever two dry metallic surfaces get in direct contact when it move each other, it may be of two types of frictions will be seen. So that is generally dry or solid friction which are produced due to the geometry of the particular meshing of the two important links. So due to this, here we can get a lot amount of heat and it go for wear, okay, tear and wear. So to reduce the surface wear or heat, we need some lubricant. Either it will cool the system and also it increases the durability of engine. So at higher speeds, you can observe. So in this particular example, you can see generally in internal combustion engines, you can see at 6000 rpm. So it is very huge speed. It will the piston will reciprocate 100 times in a second. So it is very higher speeds. You can see the when the two metallic components when move against each other, you can get more friction in the form of heat and it may undergoes wear. So at this particular thing, we need the splashing of lubricant with respect to time during the running of an engine. So there is a need of some system need to splash the oil at all the places inside a internal combustion engine. So there is a filmy layer. It has some property, you all know fluid property, that is viscosity. So here the viscosity index will be maintained with respect to temperature. Okay. So how it is to reduce? So due to the fluid particles which is having higher viscosities, it will resist one layer to another layer. You all know, you all studied in fluid mechanics. So that interposing a layer or film between two moving components. Okay, so here that will help to reduce friction. So then finally, what is our objective is to increase the engine's durability with many more cycles of thermodynamic cycles of engine operation. Okay, so you can see what is the purpose. So the first one is to reduce friction between the moving parts, and as I said, it is also acts as a cooling agent or cooling medium. And the main thing is to prevent leakage from cylinders. So you all know that in unit number 2, we have studied about what is the process cycle, what are the different process involved in the internal combustion engines during the suction stroke, during the expansion stroke, okay, or compression, expansion stroke, and exhaust stroke. So in these four, you need to compress a fluid and in the form of air and fuel. Okay, so in these two, we are achieving higher temperatures and pressures. So at that point of time, it releases some gas. Okay, so it is also used to prevent leakage from cylinder. And main thing is to maintain the surface finish, better surface finish. You are attaching the cylinders, pistons, connecting rod all over. But during the operation for long period of time, due to the smoke, many dirt and waste particles due to rupture. If you are not having any lubrication, you are supposed to observe a microparticles in the form of dirt. So there you can worn out the surfaces. So the metallic particles will also be seen. That will during the higher speeds movement of piston. So there it is in between piston and cylinder. The lubricant used to use it as a cleaning agent. So in sometimes it also provide cushioning effect. The smooth functioning of the effect can be seen when a thin oil films used to operate between, used to splash in between small bearings during the higher speeds of rotation of crankshaft. Okay, it will also use to reduce the shocks which is coming out from the engine inside of the engine, so that it will extend the long life and reduce the noise. So these are the 5 important points can be seen in the purpose of lubrication. Then there are three different types of methods used to attached in the internal combustion engines. One is the splash lubrication, and second one is the wet sump, and moreover the third one is the dry sump. So for each and every system has its own importance. When you use it to attach in a particular IC engine, whether it is a car or lorry, depend upon the application, these systems will be used. So here you can see what are the main important parts generally can be seen inside a at the bottom end of the engine. So that is called a this is called a metallic sump. So you can see for everything it is an importance of attaching. See they here the semicircular cross sections used to for bearing positions. Okay. So at the top end you can observe there are many type of holes which are drilled over the this metallic surface. This is called used to pin injecting the pins to attach the top of the engine. So that is called crankcase. So there is a fluid dynamic flow easily used to fill inside the volume. So we can see the steep. Okay, there is a tank like position you can see, and there is a drain plug used to generally you can um, during the servicing of the engine, you need to fill up a new oil. Okay, so here you can see that is a baffle plates. So those plates are used to, when you are pouring a oil, equally it can be used to hold the oil and separate the channels. Okay, so there are, these are the two metallic plates, help to prevent the oil when the car is moving with higher speeds. Okay, so the jumping effect can be reduced. So it may be made up of some uh, thin steels or aluminum plates. Okay, so it is exposed to airflow automatically at the bottom end. It will be used to, easily you can take it over the wasted oil or all used oil. Okay, so this is all about the bottom portion, that is called oil sump. So the next one is strainer. So strainer, you can see, so there are types of filters. You can see the strainer is having like a mesh used to filter out, okay, the dirt inside, already inside, which is contaminated in a particular sump. So there are types of pumping systems where you can see the oil pumps driven by the engine. So that already the oil pump also getting power from the torque which is generated from the piston and the connecting rod attached to the crank. So here the strain is also having main important application. So, and also there are types of pipes. You can see oil pumps are having different designs. You can use two gears, you can use eccentric gear pumps. Eccentric, you see the concentric, the circle or the circle. The eccentric is the design will be different. The point of contact between two gears will be different, and the gear pump and the vane pump. Okay, vane using, you can use any type of blades. So that is called vane pump. So these all are intricate parts which are inside the lubrication system. Okay, so you can see here. So how a crescent pipe. So you can see the crescent pipe. Crescent, you can the word which can be generally in the shape of gears. So you can see the working motion of the two crescents, like crescent in the sense like a moon crescent. Okay, so during the uh, moon days, so you will get a crescent. So this is also a crankshaft shaft driven gear which is fixed in the center. The meshing of the gears used to drive the fluid to inlet to the outlet. So as the gear rotate, the lower pressure developed inside the inlet side of the pump. So here you can at bottom and top you will get lower pressure. As the gear teeth moved during the meshing, the liquid used to move the oil from outlet through the outlet. So you can easily observe here what is the working of a crescent pump. Okay, so next one is coming to splash lubrication. So in olden days, you can see the splash lubrication system. Already we have discussed the oil sump where the oil is stored, that is called the oil pan. Okay, so the design will be different. Already we have seen, you can see in the last, so you can see there are some troughs. So the collecting tank for different engines, for the mass balance or load balance, they will design like they can keep the steves and troughs for easily displaying of fluid when it is during the servicing, when you pour from the bottle. So uniformly the liquid will be from the bottom to top, uniformly it will be filled over the tank. So that you can see in the oil sump. Okay, so you can see the operation of the splash lubrication. So you can see the important parts. So this is an IC engine, single cylinder. This is the camshaft. Okay, to open closing of valves, you already know. And so the the black color dots is representing the splashing of splashing of the particular oil towards all the parts. Okay, it will highly disclosed. Okay, so it can move with more force towards top end at the part of camshaft. Okay, and there you can see the bearings here. Okay, bearings at each connection. So how you are getting due to the mass rotation. Okay, the crank itself pushes the oil towards all the other parts. How it get from the oil to the trough? So there is a mechanism, that is oil pump and oil strainer. So it is oil is initially filled inside the sump. Okay, so that's why due to the rotation with higher speeds, the crankshaft and operating of a pump by using a oil pump. So already we have seen the oil pump of it may be used of two lobes or two crescent gears. Use it to move with higher speeds with the help of piston crank rotation. Okay, it will get the power for the motor. Okay, so this is the oldest method of splash the oil to all the parts of the inner parts of the internal combustion engine. So coming to wet sump lubrication. So this is the system which is almostly you can see it is used in modern automobile engines. Okay, so the parts are same, but there is some design changes. So by attaching, you can see the oil sump in the previous one, oil pump and strainer, and there is a pressure relief valve. So pressure relief valve is also important, where if it becomes the oil pressure is higher, there must be some relief valve will be open, and if it is drained, sometimes oil will be drained. So where you can give the baffles so that the oil can be moved towards the empty positions. So that is the controlling of pressure relief valve when it at depends upon the oil pressures, it will be operated. So you can see here the purpose of using a relief valve which is attached at the oil sump, nearby oil sump. So you can see the two balls so represent the gears. Okay, so due to the relieving valve which is moving with higher pressure when it is moving upwards, so there must be a filter will be at the bottom side, and before going to the internal operations of the splashing of the oil to all the parts, it must be filtered. Okay, why? Because the whatever amount of oil is displacing toward the top due to gravity, it should be fall into the oil sump. Okay, so you can observe there are some metal hose pipes which are used to attached at all the parts. So we can see there is no metallic pipes. Okay, there is no metallic pipes, much metallic pipes in olden engines. So due to uneven distribution of oil, what happens in olden vehicles? Due to overheat, the oil can also be the viscosity of oil will be changed. It turns into dirt, it turns into grease. So that's why wet sump is mostly advanced design which will be seen in modern automobile engines. Okay, so here the working is same, but you can see the design changes mainly seen in the wet sump lubrication. So the each and every, so see the piston connecting in the itself, the piston have gudgeon pin and piston rings. Okay, and you are having camshafts for inlet and exhaust valves. Okay, there is a need of lubrication at inside the internal combustion engine as well outside also for a chain purpose, for a toothed gear or a pinion which is attached at other end of the crankshaft where it distributes the torque. So that is called brake power, you all know. So each and every part components. So you can see the rocker arms and time chains, okay, and different bearings, and it is also used as a cooling medium for cylinder valves. Okay, so this is the main purpose of using wet sump lubrication, where it pushes the oil to all the intricate parts when you compare with splash lubrication. So the black color channel itself, the pumping for camshafts. Okay, here it is a crank, bearing positions, gudgeon pin. You can see here piston rings. Okay, so there is a, this is called oil line systems, which can be seen minor thickness inside a engine. Okay, during manufacturing only they will keep those lines. Okay, so channels, not lines, those channels. So you can see the video on lubrication. So this is presented by auto parts, where you can see the dynamic motions of all parts, how it will be filtered, and you can see the oil sump where it receives power from an engine through belt and pulley. So whatever brake power is getting from the indicated power during combustion, sub channels will be used, consumed that power, and that will be used as an application. So you can see clearly the oil is used to dragged by that system. Thereafter it went to oil filter. You can see that, and you can use some oil pressure regulator. So depend upon the speeds, you will get the particular oil to all the sub channels. So generally the oil filter you can see here. So the next one is, okay, so after that it will be allowed to all channels. See the yellow color one is the, and you can see the nozzles will be used to splash like a jet to all the parts. So these are the intricate channels. Okay, so this yellow color liquid or fluid is the lubricant oil. The white one is used to absorb the heat. So the jet nozzle used to splash to all parts which is inside, which cannot be seen generally. Okay, until unless you will get the cross section. Okay, so this will be mostly used in modern engines. Okay, so coming to dry sump, so you can see some major differences when you are studying the classifications. So we have studied the splash, wet and dry. Now it is dry sump. So there is some design change and the application also changed during the different types of classifications. So here you can see the oil sump is kept dry and the oil is supplied from external oil tank. So there is a need of some oil tank which is out of the engine. Whenever the oil will be drained out due to some various reasons, okay, so we will need some pump, that is scavenging. Scavenging means extracting the olden oil and deliver the new filtered oil. Okay, so the oil from the storage tank is pumped to all the parts of the engine cylinder through a one part, that is oil cooler. So whenever you are buying a new oil, so there you will need one code. So where it will give some viscosity index. Okay, so that index will be very helpful to identify where you need to use. So for suppose in winter in the European countries, the viscosity oil, due to the viscosity index, you cannot use the same oil in India or in Andhra Pradesh. So by using the lubricant in a particular external to the engine, okay, due to overheating also, the oil will be drained when you are the duration of your journey will be higher. So generally for the racing cars, heavy duty engines, you can see uh, where it used to maintain a different services. So and those will carry higher loads or higher with they will move with higher momentum regarding the racing cars. So where in that particular application there is a need of oil cooler and there is a need of separate tank. Okay, so mainly the dry sump lubrication will be seen in the racing cars and heavy duty engines. So the main purpose is where there is some exhaust point or a fire point or flash point for any oil. Okay, so due to overheating you will get some fumes. They may be damaged inside the engine. So that we will use some different type of systems design. Okay, so this will be the new design for dry sump lubrication. So you can see the many types of uh, new components. There is a oil cooler and pressure relieving valve. You can see that some thermostats will also be seen. So where it can detect the temperatures, higher temperatures. When it is crossed over that point, the sensor will be used to operate the pressure relief valve. Okay, so here also you can see there is a vent. Okay, so if it is getting a fumes due to higher temperature, okay, you will get any signal so that you can um, stop the engine and you can check out at the particular oil section. Okay, so these are the, so you can see at every point a sump with strainer and a filter. Okay, so there is a pump is required, scavenging pump is also required for this dry sump lubrication. So this is all, these are the some pictures you can see where at the bottom end you will get some oil sump at the bottom of the four wheelers, where you there you will use to refuel the oil, refill the oil. Okay, for the two wheelers you can see, so these two are, you all know, this is the main shaft, these are the pinion. Okay, you can see here. So at the bottom end, so bottom end it is a drained hole. Okay, so this is all about uh, lubrication system which will be generally used in different types of engines. Thank you.